Right. So, as the eyes of the world descend, they make their way to the northern seas near the Sea of Windia. As the months that follow from the Sandtide campaign, you, Rolloy, and Dr. Arthur von Druig have remained in close contact in trying to sort out this upcoming dreadnought problem. However, it takes quite a bit of time. You've also run into a number of problems with the Sandtide, as even though you have attempted to control it with the Blade of Lux on many different occasions, it seemingly does not feel coerced enough in order to take you to any particular point in time or destination of your will, at least not yet. Almost as if it has a will of its own. However, it has acted as a solid airship, as well as a regular ship in times in which you need it. As you spend several months wading through research and very sophisticated wizardry and artificy talk back and forth, the natural capacity of your abilities, while it's extremely useful as learning, too many questions still arise, and not much is getting done. And as such, you beckon to both of the scholars of the ship to return back to Homeway as a means to seek not only a advancement in the Academy of Homeway, but also as a means to check in with the family and the Titanosaur that roams around the island as this ever-present guardian. After what is many weeks staying home, conversing with the family, introducing them to Rudy, the Academy has awarded you the bronze cape, as it is familiar to that of their patron. However, another conversation has been brought up at the Academy.
Oh.
You notice as many of the elders of the village have made their way to the headmaster's office, where you had been congratulated for your efforts. You see, as a lot of them old, definitely reaching towards the end of their age, given their long lives. As one of the elders brings up towards the headmaster. All matters aside, and congratulations, Lady Tilly. There are concerns that we have been made aware of, given the recent predicament towards the north, and those that wish to rain down upon us from the skies beyond the star. As such, we have no diplomatic means of communicating with our continental neighbors.
That could certainly be a problem. What do you propose we implement in order to get this going?
See, as one of the female scholars pops up, a conversation of sorts has arisen, as Mungrir was the one who managed many of the more extracurriculars of what lie beyond the island. As you are aware, our displacement within Volflora has made it assured that we close ourselves off. In light of that, we were thinking mayhaps we are in need of a sovereign.
A sovereign? Alright.
And you see, as the headmaster, we have not elected a sovereign in the past 4 or 5 generations. We've never needed one. We assumed that we weren't going to for quite some time. But
well, of course,
now,
for as long as I've known, we've just had the elders gesturing respectfully towards the crew.
and you see as the older gentleman, so we were considering looking at prospective individuals within the islands who might act as elect for sovereign. And of course, there will need to be a proper ceremony for such a thing.
Well, of course, such an important person must be acknowledged and brought up to everyone, so. May I ask what candidates you have in mind?
You see as the lot of them kind of just look at each other and stare back at you. Well, we were hoping, as one who has ventured throughout all of Earthsheimel already, and has met many of its leaders, mayhap towards the end of this year we will elect you as sovereign.
Me? Well, I can't say I'm not flattered. I appreciate your consideration. It's a big thing to think about. Wow. I do hope, though, that I'm not your only candidate. I want it to be a fair representation of our people.
Of course. There are many who have assumed within the Academy those we have chosen as a possible candidate. One that's a little bit more, how you would say, battle ready as well. Given our recent engagement with the Volnstinians.
Well, that would take a little bit of thought.
It's not an immediate matter, mind you. You see as the headmaster looks over. It is something to consider, of course, but there are other matters that Hongwei must face first, like how we intend to have a much more smoother symbiotic relationship with the Titanosaur that roams the islands. And we're also looking into figuring out many of the more natural energies that Hongwei is capable of. As you are aware, much of what we apparently have here is a massive deposit of orichalcum.
Mm-hmm.
And with orichalcum, we'll be able to develop magical technologies and may even advance Hongwei far beyond any of our continental neighbors.
I believe that's a very good idea. Certainly keep enough for our own supply, but I think it also may be worth considering having a partial trade of this sort of device. I know orichalcum can be used for a whole bunch of things, and I believe we may be able to form a trade with someone. I have an idea on who, but I'll need to think about it a little bit deeper to be absolutely sure. But I think if we form a trade route, that might help us both get out into the world, but also advance ourselves.
All options to remain as open as possible, but we do not want to stop mining orichalcum right away. In case you are not aware.
Right away. There's still a lot to consider before then, but it is definitely something to think about.
Yes. And you see as the headmaster turns again. All matters aside, though, I believe, for now, as one of our grand sages, your opinion will be worth an infinite amount of wisdom, should it ever come to rise in your immediate vicinity.
Alright.
There are still other things that need to be attended here at the Academy, but congratulations, Lady Dew.
It's definitely a hard-earned prize, and Wenrie will tug self-consciously at the scarf, just...
And you see
I'm
as
very
all of
honored
them,
to have received it.
You see as all of them give a very deep bow. It is our honor to finally be able to grant another one of these to one of our very skilled mages.
If I may ask, it's been a good long time since the last one was honored with this, right?
Yes, I suppose about nearly a generation ago. Not since the passing of Mongreer.
Suddenly this cape feels a lot heavier. Still, I am very honored to have received it. You will not be ashamed for honoring it to me.
As we are sure. As all of them give another deep head bow. As the day passes from its shining to its darkness, night begins to overtake, and you return back to the Sand Tide and recommune with your friends and as well as your beloved. As you return to the ship, you see as Rudy kind of just sitting there waiting, and as well as Arthur kind of just going back and forth with Rolloy more about the madness of what they're learning.
Hello, everyone. I'm back. And I've got some good news.
Oh, welcome back. And you see us all like, yeah. It just kind of pulls Arthur back down.
I guess I'll share the news with them later. Let's start with you, Rudy.
Yeah,
Notice anything new?
New cape?
This is the Bronze Cape. This is our highest rank for sorcerers on this island. To achieve this is... It doesn't look heavy, but it feels heavy, you know?
As he goes to approach you. Well, it matches you. And regardless of its weight, I'm sure that with all that you are, more than enough strong to carry it.
I will... It's a big responsibility. I'm the first one to be given this in a generation, the elders told me. We had other conversation items, but that's more politics for the island.
And what does that entail? Politics?
Well, some of it was acknowledging the resources of the island, trying to figure out how we can keep in good contact with the Titanosaur, make sure everything's all safe, and on top of that, look for somebody to be in charge, a sovereign. It's been only the elders for ages and ages, and I guess it's time to pick someone else to be in charge.
Yeah, I mean, a sovereign is a elected position. They act in the best interest of people. Which is something that I know that you're very capable of, if that's what they're talking about.
It is, actually. They did mention I was a candidate. I'm not the only one, of course, but I think that's part of the reason why the cape feels so heavy. Just, there's a lot to think about.
See as Rolly going under deck, see as Arthur turns his head. Well then, it sounds like much needs to be done. Are you intending to stay here, home at Homeway?
I don't think I'm quite finished yet. I've still got more things to see, but they did give me about a year to figure it all out, so... I will be keeping in touch with them, so...
Very good. Given that our research has come to a unfortunate crawl, figuring out the sand tide is becoming a much more difficult matter altogether. But we should keep attempting to try and figure out as much as we possibly can, using it as often as possible.
Who knows, we might hit the right button and get things to work perfectly.
Quite possibly. And you see as the head tilts an odd direction.
You all right there?
However, yes. I have received notice of a very particular request of me.
Oh?
You see as he turns his back and then he looks back towards you. I may be gone for some time. I have been requested by an ally of mine.
Oh, you, Arthur, and your secrets. Alright. Go on ahead, you know how to find us.
I will be returning as soon as possible, but do keep an eye out for things. I'm relatively sure there are those with varying interests now that they know that the sand tide has been made.
Oh, no worries. If anything pops up, you'll be one of the first to know.
Very good. And you see as he pulls out a small crystalline device that is wrapped in metal. I'll be seeing you also. Before he jams his thumb through it and his entire body just disappears.
Can I just be honest? That guy still off to me a little bit.
Yeah, I get it, but hey, after everything that happened before, and now that him and Cotton have resolved everything, at least we know he's on our side. In this matter.
And that's what still kind of concerns me a little bit.
You're worried he has ulterior motives?
I feel like he's somebody that doesn't want to give everybody the full picture until it's down to the wire. It's hard to trust a man like that.
Yeah. To be fair, though, Alois Azure was the same way.
But for some strange reason, I always felt more comfortable with Alois. Call it what you will, it's just... mayhaps it's the old military paranoia.
No, it's good to have a healthy amount of paranoia. There is definitely something off about Arthur. I won't deny that, but... for now, I'm going to take any of his help, because Wenrie will gesture to the helm of the ship. I know if I press one wrong button up there, this thing will be halfway across Erzheimel before we can sneeze.
Yeah. Well then, whilst we're on our sabbatical, I suppose.
That's a good word for it.
Mayhaps we should try and solve some other problems that have yet to be left a solution.
I can certainly think of one problem, and when we will touch over at the bracelet on her right hand. I'd like to try to get this resolved, but obviously it'll take a lot more work than just asking the ghosts of the past, because they've helped me as far as they can.
I think, then...
As you go and see as he kind of raises the hand with the Klinghex attached to it.
Let's spend time on this.
Alright. I'm not sure if we have anything left at the archives here, but... it wouldn't hurt. Besides, nobody will tell me no.
Huh? One more adventure.
And we can stop at Mom and Dad's for dinner.
Of course. One more adventure, then.
Let me see if Rolei would be interested in joining us. Hold on. Rolei! Rolei!
Huh? Yes?
Hey, so, we're gonna be going over to the archives there. I'm gonna look up some things for the Klinghex. Do you want to come with us, or you still want to tinker around with the boat?
I'm currently trying to figure out why it keeps talking to me in a weird way.
Talking to you. What's it saying?
I don't know just yet, but I'm figuring it out.
Well, next time it says something interesting, try writing it down. I'll see if I can help you out on it.
Yes, something about gold and shining. That's interesting. As he just like waves the staff of AMC around. This is gold and shiny, so I imagine it has something to do with that.
Yeah, true, it might. Who knows? Well, I'll keep my eye out for anything else gold and shiny. You keep that smart brain a-working, and if you need a break, Rudy and I are gonna meet up at my folks for dinner, so...
Absolutely. As the lot of you, with the exception of Rolei for the night, attending a family dinner, exchanging names and faces, getting used to new environments. You can see that Rudy is both happy, but there's a look on his face, unfamiliar. A face that you're not commonly prone to seeing.
Now, Wenrie will wait for a gap in the conversation or a moment so that she can just kind of turn sideways to Rudy and just... I don't see that face a lot. You thinking about things?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Just,
And kind of just looking at your family, the food, the happiness, the joy.
Just, reminds me of home.
Ah. Hey, if you want, we can probably try to make a stop at your folks soon.
No. Hothright is far too deep inland. I don't think we should go.
Well, alright, if you say so, but if you're ever feeling homesick, just feel free to invite them out to Port Town.
My folks don't travel.
Ah.
They...
And kind of just looking out and around.
As I've told you before, our kind are not too prone to going on adventures. And
I see.
Mom and Dad are also not exactly happy about my initial career path, and I'm relatively sure they're not going to be happy with the one I have anyway, so... Just... It's just nice to remember when it was good.
Well, if we ever do get the opportunity to see them again, I'm in your corner, you know that, right?
I know. I just... Sometimes I wonder if they're okay. As any son would be.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's perfectly fine. I know that when I first ventured out, I was worried sick about Mom and Dad for the longest time. Then, of course, the Titanosaur started walking around, and, well, got a little bit safer.
You see as he kind of just moves the back of his neck.
I think it's probably best right now just to focus on you.
Alright, if you say so. Or, maybe we could focus on dessert, because I don't know.
Yes.
I don't know if you've had these kinds of cakes before, but nothing.
Of varying
nothing.
different qualities!
And you see your mother just pushing the entirety of the small cakes towards his general direction.
Yep, that's definitely a halfling thing.
Well, come on, take the strawberry one. That one's my favorite.
And you see is just the exchanging of food, stories, legacies. As the night comes to a close and the days begin to pass, goodbyes are exchanged. As you make your first stop on your next adventure, you attend the gravesite. Of course, with the guiding of a Holly. Back to Yimnan. As you make your way into the Forest of Spirits, a old place protected by the seals and magic last provided by a death goddess. As you make your way to this grave site, excuse me. Get this up real quick. Whoops. There we go. There's the note. As you make your way and find yourself at the gravesite of yeah, catching myself on this one.
Sound it out, take your time.
Laletha, the devout. This gravesite harbors an energy. Almost as if it is covered in rage here. And you can feel as though the Klinghex pulls you to the ground as you get close to it.
Well, this is unnerving. Keep an eye out, Rudy. This feels angry around here.
Gotcha.
As you place your hand on the gravestone, you are pulled. Find yourself in this blackened lake, this liminal space, with the moon that hangs over it, full and bright.
Well, this place is familiar.
As standing there, this humongous individual, kind of familiar to that of almost like a half-orc. See, as many of the outfit is familiar to that of a shaman.
Wenrie will take a deep breath to steady herself and make her way over to this figure and gently introduce herself. My name is Wenrie. I take it you are one of the spirits within the Klinghex.
You come here for what, Wenrie Tea Leaf?
I've come to both understand the Klinghex better and investigate a possible route to removing the curse. Making it more a tool for salvation than something to bind me on a constant path of killing.
You see as the head kind of stares up and then tilts towards you. Do you not know the weight of a blade?
I'm somewhat familiar now, but...
Not that of the Klinghex, child. Do you know what a sword is used for?
Well, a sword is a weapon. A sword is intended to slay and defend and so on and so on.
So then you already understand what the Klinghex is capable of. It is a weapon.
True. Though I would prefer to use it as something, as a means of defense, rather than actively going out and hunting someone.
So you desire control.
I desire the ability to choose what to do with this. As it is currently on my wrist, I am currently the one that can use it, though I am not the only one who commands it.
While in Yona, the desired was the last before you. However, her bloodlust far surpassed, as well as her lust in general. My desires, what I was devout to, was to war, to kill.
So, if I understand correctly, and do correct me if I am wrong, you're the one that puts the motivation into the Klinghex, the motivation to pursue the next hunt?
Yes. The power, it's pure power, the rebellion. That of Alexandria the White. That is matched by her desire for victory. And so, at all cost, she would win. Even if it meant the dispatching of her beloved. I never found anything so useless. All I cared about was making sure that the hunger was fed. Many a times, mortals, man, nation, will not care about your people, will not care about your wants and your desires. They care about victory. So it is easy to abandon all those things as a means to assure their safety. Are you capable of such a thing?
And Wenrie will take this moment to think sincerely on everything she's heard so far and everything she's learned. I am honestly still seated in the desire to control the Klinghex as something to be used, not only for defense, for myself, but defense of my people. So in the same way, I suppose it is a want for victory. I suppose it is, on one hand, a want for bloodlust to kill those that are putting my family and myself at risk. But the one thing that the Klinghex doesn't give me is choice. Once I have a target in mind, that's all that the Klinghex wants. What if things change and I can't grant that to the Klinghex? What if I was able to change Viscal? What if I didn't have to claim his life?
And yet you did anyways.
I did because it had to be done.
True. You cannot change the very nature of people. They have to do it themselves. And sometimes they will always refuse to do so. I am the rage within the Klinghex, the desire for blood, the desire to kill. You cannot change that because you cannot change me. If you wish to control, if you wish for choice, then may I remind you that you cannot control and choose with us. But what you can do is merely channel the rule in which you must choose a target to have a desire to kill, to be devout to that kill. That is yours to channel. All we ask is for the work to be done. If you cannot bear the responsibility of such things, then go dig up my bones. Dig up Alexandria's bones. Dig up the desired bones. And burn them. Burn them. And eliminate this fragmentary piece of what you consider a lack of choice. But if you want, if you desire those strengths and that power, you must be devout to it. And the choice will be yours to channel.
I think I understand better now. I will take what you've said into consideration then. I still need one last piece of information before I'm completely solid on this, but I appreciate what you've told me, and I won't forget it.
There is one more grave you intend to seek, then?
Yes. I like to understand everything before I make a final decision.
The desired was not so easily dispatched.
I imagine none of you were. Much less yourself.
The last grave is not on this star. In fact, it is far beyond it. If you wish for the final answer, you will have to seek a realm of madness, where rules do not apply, where only desire matters.
A realm outside of the star. When desire matters and madness reigns. That will take a lot of searching. But at least I have a direction, which is far better than I was off beforehand.
Is there anything else?
You mentioned burning the bones. I will not make the decision to do so just yet. But were I to do that, it would remove you, it would remove Alexandria, and it would remove this one last soul.
Correct. The Klinghex will lose its power, and it will never be able to use it again.
So in removing the curse, I remove the Klinghex forever. It's good to know. I thank you for that.
You continue to desire rebellion. Final question I wish to ask.
Go ahead.
If you wish to carry Alexandria's will with you, by all means. However, I can assure you that rage is a far superior power.
Wenrie will think back to the various fights she's had, where the Klinghex has been involved and where she hasn't used it. I can see where rage can be an extreme motivator. The desire for victory cannot be discounted, and neither can rage, and neither can desire itself. So, once I find this third burial site, I will very deeply consider how I want to proceed, but for now, yours is in a very safe place. So, whatever rest you can get, take it. I will probably call upon the Klinghex in a not too distant future if my thoughts are correct.
Very well. Seek your answers. And if you feel like rage is the strength you need, return here. And I will give you my rage and my devotion.
I will not forget it. I will remember your grave, I will remember you.
See as the head turns away from you now. That glowing red hair, the slightly yellowed eyes as it returns back to staring at the moon. As the conversation ends, you detach. Many, many thoughts to think about as you, Rudy, and... Well, you and Rudy return back to the Sand High. Late in the night. Here. Alright. Ah! Where's the playlist? There it is. As you return back to the Sandtide, you see as Rolloy is kind of just staring down a figure sitting across from one of the main areas here on the top deck, sitting at a crate, waiting. Wenrie, we have an unexpected visitor. A sultan of one of our friends.
One of our friends?
Yes. In case you might not remember, the one who hurt our dear friend Cotton.
Oh.
As you look and see this high elven woman, fully armored and kind of just stone-faced at the strange introduction. Much apologies. I am former Special Director Harlan Kapoor. I was hoping to try and talk to your friend.
Well, Rolloy's one of my friends, but I imagine he's not the one you're looking for.
Oh no, she's looking for Cotton.
Yeah, I figured. Well, as you can see, Cotton's not here. I'm terribly sorry, but I can take a message.
No, it's quite alright, actually. This is a complicated matter, and I was hoping that I might be able to present an invite for a very particular event. As she gets up and walks along the ship, I have made a great deal of mistakes. Here is Rolly laugh. Ha! Not the only one, I suppose.
Well, she's apologizing. That's better than a lot of people could do.
I was actually hoping to have her, as well as any of you who might be willing to attend my trial.
And Wenrie will have to pause and blink for a second. Your trial?
Yes. Unbeknownst to you and your crew, I was one of the very few individuals who helped befall Lumeria.
Mm-hmm.
And as she looks around a bit, I'm sure if you ask a certain party, you might be able to explain a bit more in detail, but I am in need of witnesses to my crimes, as well as those interested in providing detailed explanations of what has happened, considering your association with Alois Azure.
Well, I wouldn't say I would make the best witness, but I probably would be the most available.
Yeah, no, too busy with all the boat things, ships, research.
Like he said, he's got boat things going on.
So many
Cotton
boat
and
things.
Murad, they've got their own stuff. Holly, she's right around Homegway. I don't know if you want to... Not Homegway, I'm sorry. She's right over here on Yimnin if you want to go check her, but I don't know. That's up to her.
You see as Rudy walks up. As one soldier to another, it would be best if we just kept it to a minimum of 2 individuals from this particular party. We want to make sure that Rolai keeps a solid look on the ship, whilst we allow everyone to have their proper distance. And looking towards you.
I'm gonna be perfectly honest. Cotton is more likely to drive you into the ground for what you did, so...
I figured. That said, then, as you see as she reaches under the armor and pulls out with what looks like to be a envelope, that of a platinum color. This is a magical means to teleport you to the adamantine bastion. At a particular hour, it will glow and float and provide a gate. Once you and your associate walk through, you will be brought straight to the castle, where you will be in waiting with those else to be let in for the trial. It is closed off to the rest of the public, so it will be very private, and it will be before my king and queen.
So this is not only a trial invitation, but a royal one. I suppose it's hard to turn that down.
It is a lot in part to what information Cotton had provided me many months ago.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even have your name, I apologize.
Wenrie Tea Leaf. And I have been apprised of what Cotton witnessed and experienced.
And Wenrie, you know very well just as much what direction this world is about to face.
Very serious indeed. Alright. I suppose then I am the best candidate to accept this.
Very well. As she gives it to you, and as she slowly makes her way off the ship, if you see Arthur, tell him he's also invited. But don't be quick about it.
Oh, that all entirely depends on when I next see him. He comes and goes as he pleases.
As he is wont to do. As you see as she finally steps away and off the ship. As this slight tense situation begins to die down, the night folds into the day. You awaken some several weeks later, as per the time and date of the letter. As upon this morning you find yourself with Rolloy and Arthur bickering back and forth of his prolonged lack of appearance.
I'm guessing I have also notified Arthur of his invitation.
This is the first time you've seen him in quite some time.
Ah, alright then.
And you just hear as Rolloy are like, we are not getting anywhere closer, and with you not being here, it kind of makes that a little frustrating. And you see as Arthur, I have other things to attend to. With the lack of 3 other pirate lords and my assistance with the Pirate King, I have other responsibilities other than just the Sandhide. I also have another matter that needed to be taken care of altogether. Oh, Wenrie, good morning.
I overheard a little bit of that. First question, how is Murad doing? Is he holding up alright?
Yes, he's taken to his responsibilities quite quickly, and of course with my assistance, as well as picking out new candidates for Pirate Lords, his hand is ever so valuable as the days pass.
Well, very good. I'm glad he's doing alright. Second question, have you heard from a, Miss Harleen in recent days?
Harleen? Yes. Lady Harleen Lythgard. She was an old friend of mine, Umbrian.
Oh, good. Well, I just want to let you know that I received a little invite from her, and Wenrie will probably have this thing tucked in under her cape and all that. She'll pull it out. This little invite here is, it's to go see her trial. Not only am I invited, but you as well, Arthur. So I take it when this thing activates, if you're here, we're both just going to walk through.
I see. Unfortunately, I cannot immediately attend this. Immediately. I will have to do so at a later hour, but... Quite interesting. Facing trial.
Yes, apparently she's done a few not-so-nice things. I can really only testify to what happened with Cotton, which I suppose I'm the better choice than Cotton, because it would be messy otherwise.
Well, us Umbrians are quite well known for our traitorous behaviors in the past. As you probably are not aware, myself and 12 others brought Lemuria to where it is today. In the efforts of retaliation, myself and my associates had led in the Lich King, causing our king to activate the Ragnarok project, really displacing the entirety of the kingdom of Lemuria into a demi-plane, before returning after the rise of the Dragon Queen and all subsequent matters. However, now that the Adamantine Bastion exists, it was to act as a bastion of change.
And also a bastion for the king and queen, apparently.
Yes. The fact that they remained unknown of Harleen's past for so long. She must have kept that secret well hidden.
Some people are very good at hiding, as you can probably attest.
It is what I am best known for. I prefer my privacy in many different ways.
Well, it helps when you live in a ship that's constantly underwater and nobody can talk to you.
I have many conversations. With myself, mostly.
You know, some people would find that worrying, but given I know Rolloy and all them, it's not that bad. Cue Rolloy off to the side, just having a conversation with himself about the other thing.
However, Wenrie, are you feeling alright today?
believe I am. I mean, a little nervous given the invitation and all that business, but... What? Do I have something on my face?
No. I just been receiving a number of reports around Earthseyheim about a particular event that happened last night.
Something that happened last night?
Yes. A matter with the king of the Adamantine Bastion, Sultan of Acelsium, a number of known associates of mine, and had a unique dream. I was wondering if you might have had one as well.
Well, I mean, I had this strange dream about a dog, but I don't think it's anything related to what you've done.
Well then, it is a matter that I need to investigate whilst you all attend the trial. I will attend as quickly as possible, I promise, but there is much information that remains unbeknownst to me. That said...
Alright, just make sure that when you arrive, it's not too fashionably late.
I hope not. Well then, that said, please do attend and show your best foot forward. A king will be in your presence.
I suppose I should polish up my manners, this, that, and the other thing.
Oh, before I forget, he is the son of Bahamut.
Alright, I suppose I should really keep up my manners then.
Yes. Well then, to the best of luck, and I will see you later today.
Oh, and one more thing. Give my best to Juno. I haven't heard much from her, but...
She is doing well, thanks to Cotton's research.
That's good to hear. I was worried about her for a while.
As the letter in your hands begins to glow and float, time is beginning to tick forward.
Cue.
You see, as Rudy kind of just like kicks open the door. It's like, okay, I got everything packed. Let's go.
Come on, Rudy, let's go. Come on.
You see, as the two of you watch as the letter begins to expand to the slight portal, as you both jump through, and the gate slams closed. As you are met with the cool air of the Adamantine Bastion, as well as what looks like to be the visage of a few unfamiliar faces, and a couple of familiar faces.
Stand tall, Rudy. Stand tall.
It's hard to do that when you're, our size.
Metaphorically, come on.
Alright. As you all push forward into the Adamantine Bastion. And that is where we're going to go ahead and leave today's session.
Hooray!
Hooray!